I came across a recent article, and it's actually old. I didn't know this happened so long ago. But Maya, who has been performing and being seen on many festival stages lately, looking fucking amazing, married herself. So, you ain't know that?
Wait, I don't even know what you're talking about. Maya who?
Maya the singer. My love is celibate. Like, whoa, my.
She married herself.
She married, in a whole, she has wedding pictures. In a whole ceremony on a beach.
When was this? How did we miss this?
This is why I said, wait a second. Maya married herself. I want you to see the wedding pictures. Maybe we can have them pull up, bitch. And she explained the reason. Don't do this. Don't do this goddamn face. I know we talk about the women that get on their knee to propose to a nigga. This bitch said, I'm going to put the ring on my own finger, be on the beach, glam was glamming, and she married herself. So
I really like Maya, and I hate that, like, the feelings that I have about this.
So she married herself in Seychelles. 2 months. Oh, well, this was in 2020, actually. So 4 years ago.
Girl, we had too much going on. That's why we missed it.
No, that's what, period. The world was ending. That's why we ain't know. So she married herself, and pretty much expresses that this is what makes her happy. She was like, she figured she had married, let me see where the fuck. I want to get her exact explanation to marrying herself. Girl. But anyways, I say all that to say she has talked about being celibate. She has, been by herself. And I want to talk about if being single by choice is really as liberating or as much of a choice as we are currently talking about it being. I also want to say shout out to our patrons. If you're not a patron, by the way, please join us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/horrible decisions. Before we get started, this lady, and I want to make sure I give her credit because that bitch went to the dictionary. She said, shout out to JT. She said, as someone who is not single by choice, I have a perspective to add to this conversation. When looking at the definition of choice, it is in fact, and that's why I wanted to bring up the definition. It is in fact an act of selecting or making a decision when faced with two or more possibilities. So if you are not faced with two or more possibilities, are you really making a choice? She said, I'm 28 from Kentucky in nursing school. All of my white or other race colleagues were married by 23 to 25. As a Black woman who desired a Black man, my options were very slim. A lot of them were either interested in other races exclusively, jailed, murdered, gay, etc. So that leaves for every one Black man, 10 Black women looking for love. And I wanted to read this too.
That's not her option. That's her preference.
She said, when I started travel nursing, I went to bigger cities, LA, New York City, DC. I didn't really have that much better of an experience in those cities. The most attention that I get is when I have been out of the country, Africa, London, Portugal. At this point in my life, I do think that I have become more jaded on the topic and have stopped trying. I would love to have love, but I do not think it is as simple as just desiring it or wanting to choose it. It does have to reciprocally choose you.
Completely agree.
That's why I wanted to read this one too.
Single by choice is not real.
Explain that.
We can stop. So when I've been single by choice, and I'm putting that in quotation marks for people that aren't watching, it's because I wanted to stop dating for that moment.
Okay.
As somebody that has seeked out partners before and wanted those relationships to work, I am clearly not single by choice. If my relationships would have worked out and were prosperous and were great, I would not be single by choice. Like, I didn't want to be single. That's why I've pursued relationships. The reason I had moments of being single is because I knew I had to focus on myself to heal from whatever fuck shit happened the last time.
Okay.
That's the choice. But it's only the choice because it didn't work out. If I had a good nigga around, I would not be single by choice. And this is why I say that. I've always thought it was bullshit when people say that. And I've had so many times throughout the term of this podcast, a lot of people tell me that I'm a pick-me, right? Like Twitter, YouTube, whatever, even in my Instagram comments. And I think it's because I have a lot of relationship girl energy. I always have. But it's because I've been very open and comfortable with saying I love companionship. Now, I was single the last 2 years because I wasn't finding people that were a match for me. But I've been actively trying to find myself. I think I did find my partner because I was impressed. I wasn't necessarily single by choice when I met him. I think I was just single and enjoying being single. But if someone comes around that's great, Maya would not have married herself. If Maya met the perfect nigga, she would not have married herself. If you could list out the qualities you want in a person and that person showed up at your door, why would you still be single? No, you wouldn't. You're not going to turn the person that's great for you away. You are single because of your options. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not even saying that to be shady. Just because I got a nigga right now don't mean anything by that. I don't want to sound like I'm on a high horse.
I mean, especially because that we have talked about it, I think on Patreon, where
if your ex-boyfriend wasn't a piece of shit, you'd be with that nigga right now.
Yeah, he wasn't shit though. Yes.
You know?
But I think that that's the problem. Even you using the word perfect. I think that what I'm seeing for even my friends that are in relationships and not single, I don't know if I necessarily have the capacity. Like right now, I do feel like I'm single by choice, because I am figuring out still what a relationship to me would look like. But I think I just also don't think I have the capacity to deal with an ain't shit person. And I've said this on Patreon, and maybe this is my jaded ass talking. Maybe I get better 10 years from now. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I genuinely find people to be shitty. And I find it to be very difficult to coexist with someone who is living their life and trying to navigate and figure it out the same way that I am, to where it almost seems like another job.
But if you met someone, Mandii, that had a lot better qualities than these last few people, like you've been annoyed by a lot of the men you've dated. If somebody was better,
I'm annoyed by all the friends my friends are dating. Like,
what do your friends have to do with you?
Well, because when we're talking about how people are showing up right now, just overall, and this fucking podcast could be one of the things y'all blame too. Even seeing the iterations of what's happening online and listening to what my friends are dealing with and going through, I don't know. I think I'm emotionally and mentally exhausted, but I have very also little faith with thinking someone can't show up.
First of all, whatever your friends are going through, cut that out. People stay in situations that they shouldn't be in. You've mentioned your friends have cheated. Like, all of our friends are not perfect either. They all make mistakes. You don't know what your friends are doing in their relationships.
No, my point. People are shitty. I think they're being shitty too.
Don't let their situations stop you from having faith in people.
Oh, bitch, the niggas in my phone right now. I'm good. But I don't like anybody.
If they, so this is why I think the single by choice thing is a really thing is a thing that sucks. I think by choice, you can stop dating for a period. That's what I think you do when you say single by choice.
Yeah.
To me, there's no one that will choose. Maybe, I don't know. I think the bulk of people, if they could say, I would be in a healthy, happy relationship with someone I'm comfortable with or like or attracted to or whatever, they would take it. I think you stop dating by choice. And I actually think that only comes from when you know you need a break. When dating has either become something toxic to you, something that hasn't worked out, when you need a reevaluation, or even when you need some fun. Hey, I was in a long-term relationship. It didn't work out. I need some hoe years. That to me is a choice, but it's because you're actively not dating. The scary thing about hoe years is when someone comes up in your life that's dope and you're like, damn, I don't really want to be single anymore because I don't want to let this person go. I do not believe
it's just weird. Even
turn away good love.
The happy and healthy. I think the same way you're single for a moment, a happy and healthy relationship is only for a moment. I guess absolutely. I think that relationships
have you really not met a married couple that's happy?
Absolutely. They're happy for a moment. It's healthy for a moment, and then life happens. Like, I don't think this is why relationships don't last forever. I think that there are happy and healthy even moments in a relationship. So to me, it's the part of knowing that most people in relationships, we've talked about this a couple episodes ago, will stay miserable for a long time in a relationship because they want to be in a relationship more than they feel like being single because of what I think society puts onto you as a pressure, specifically as a woman, to bear children, get married. The same way I believe that having kids is a choice, I absolutely believe being single is a choice, but even the way that you umbrella certain relationships being happy and healthy, the same way you're single for a moment, I think relationships realistically are only happy and healthy at a moment or for a moment.
Do you think people are not for a moment happy and healthy while single? I have a lot of single people that complain.
But I didn't say that. But I'm saying.
But that's my point, though. But you could say that about relationships, but that's we're comparing the two. Right, being single has a lot of dark moments too that we aren't talking about. When it comes to holidays, when it comes to feeling like you're being left out, when it comes to intimacy, nobody's going to convince me that they're not equatable. Like, I used to make the comment a lot of times, like, yeah, I'm single, but, and I heard Dr. Bryant doing that Cam Newton thing. Well, at least I ain't getting cheated on. At least I ain't living in a house and crying and da-da-da-da. We always compare being single to not being miserable. And that's because we are so focused on thinking relationships are always going to be bad, bro. It's not true. We got to stop doing that. There are healthy relationships. And I think if we don't change that framework, we're always going to be ready for it to be painful.
I think because, again, I think removing ourselves from Delulu, getting into reality, relationships end. Work relationships, friendships, platonic friendships, romance relationships, they all end. And so in order to end, it's because something went bad. So this idea of a healthy and happy relationship, to me, yes, it is only at a moment. And I think then I'm speaking to maybe, again, the trauma. We talked about this on Patreon. I think the constant desire to be in a relationship without working those things out. I don't know if I realistically want to ever feel the heartbreak that I just felt. Giving myself to someone that I gave to. And I don't know how long that's going to take. I know that I was in my relationship with this fucking narcissist for 3 years, but I have my mom and 2 other friends that also just got out of those relationships. And it's like, bro, the psychological damage as well as the heartbreak, setting yourself up to be in another relationship, you're setting yourself up to feel that way again. Like, because not everything is going to last forever.
Mandii, I'm sorry that you really haven't. I'll say this. I can name 3 friends right now. One of them is newly married, but Sarita and Alan, my friends have been married, I think maybe more than 15 years. My friends Fernia and Eddie, I think they're at about 20 years. And she's my age. They've been together since high school. And my homegirl, Gila and Nick, they just got married. And I only want to make this point. All of these women, no shade to their husbands if they listen, of course have called me with an issue, right? He's doing XYZ. My homegirl, Nia, and I talk often. She's one of my closest friends. She literally complained about something with her husband the other day, right? She goes, girl, I would not trade him in. I'm just saying this. And I even am trying to hold myself back from venting because I know how lucky I am. Like, he's my best friend. He's my soulmate. This nigga just getting on my nerves right now.
You just saw a clip from the Horrible Decisions podcast.
To check out more full episodes and the rest of our content, check the links down below.